Welcome aboard for another video.
Thanks, Conductor Keith. Hi, the purpose of this video is to show you my 1:48 scale COBI airplanes. Now, 1:48 scale, you wonder, I mean, what's wrong with the 1:32 scale or the other ones, you know, the bigger planes? What's wrong with them? Well, nothing. I love them, as you can see in my previous videos. However, 1:48 speaks to me partly because of the space savings and partly because I have a 1:48-ish course scale, as the British would say, toy trains like Lionel, MTH, etc. So in this video, I'm going to show you and talk about these airplanes, what I like and don't like about them, very little I don't like, and compare them with 6 of my 1:48 scale tanks that I already have, and how I plan to use these in the future. Okay, there's no real surprises to these COBI kits. You know, the boxes are nice. They come with, you know, nice information about the prototype, etc. And, you know, nothing surprising here. Likewise, the manuals are all very nice, easy to follow directions, never had any problems whatsoever with any of them. My son, who is 8 years old, he built this one. But while I have them all here, let's just talk about them. First up, we have the British Typhoon fighter aircraft. It has the iconic Typhoon radiator scoop. It's got a bubble canopy. Everything is pad printed. That's really nice. All these aircraft are pad printed. The color is really nice. Typical COBI, well designed, well put together. Now these are smaller models, no dihedral in the wings. Now having said that, another video that I'm producing will be about this Grumman Avenger, which does have dihedral and folding landing gear. But this is a slightly bigger aircraft, even though it's the same scale. But because these are brick models and they're a whole bunch smaller, the landing gear doesn't fold. They just pop out if you want to hang them up, you know, with fish line like I do, or pretend to fly them around the house, which I admit I do sometimes too. Things I like about this Typhoon, it's got the look of the Typhoon. It's really, really nice and colorful. It's got, you know, really good camouflage. The pad printing's really sharp. The propeller spins around super easy. It's all really nice, actually. Came together quite nice. Nothing wrong with the kit. One thing I wish, though, is that COBI came out with slightly smaller heads. Just a smaller head. Doesn't have to be their typical minifigure head. And just, you know, to put it right there. And so that we could have what looks like somebody in the aircraft itself. Now, I love it. Great airplane. Looks good. But I wish there was some painting on the canopy, as you will see in a few moments, with the Japanese Zero and many other now being produced COBI airplanes. They're starting to do more and more canopy painting. Minor complaint. Now, of course, you can't scale down bricks. So the bigger the brick model, the more realistic it's going to be, obviously. The more you scale down bricks, the more sort of brickish they'll look. And that's fine. It's still really just a toy. Now, mind you, it's a toy that adults like me love. This is a nice airplane, captures the look and feel of the Typhoon. So I've got very little to complain about here. I wish it had some flaps that moved, or maybe a rudder piece. And as you can see, there's no embossed anything on the rudder here. So there you have it. There's the Typhoon. Now let's bring in the Japanese Zero. This thing is a gem. Look at it. Okay, a total gem. Look at the canopy on that. Isn't that an utter gem? This thing is beautiful. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Again, I wish there was a little head or something in there. Hint to COBI. The pad printing's nice. It's really simple anyway. It's just the Japanese sun. One thing this has that the Typhoon doesn't have, look at that. So you can pose it. Nice posable things if you want to hang it up. You want to make it look like it's got in a crazy turn. Or if it's parked and the flaps are down, that's really nice. And here you can see the embossed shape of a rudder, even though it doesn't move. Yep, and of course the landing gear comes off. Propeller spins nice and easy. I really think this thing is a gem. It's a total gem. This is a gem. Beautiful little 1:48 brick model of Zero. I really like it. I really like this too. Can't say I like this more than this, because I like them both. But this has more detail. Actually, I couldn't think of anything about this I didn't like. I really like all of it. So, that leaves us with the Mustang. Now, earlier in my channel, there's a video where I talk about this Mustang. It's the Maverick one. There's no pad printing on the wings here, but the pad printing that there is really nice. The invasion stripes are really nice. Again, you know, the landing gear that just fits in there like that because it can't fold, it's too small. 4-blade prop spins super nice. Captures the look, feel, and shape of the Mustang really well, I think. Even though this canopy doesn't have any painting on it, I like the fact that it's a smoky color. I really like that. I think that's really sharp, sets it off quite nice. So this was the first 148 plane that I got, and it's what convinced me to get a whole slew of others, including a second Mustang in green, invasion stripes. This one does actually have the marking here on the wing. You know, otherwise, it actually went together exactly the same. They didn't change anything about it, not one thing, other than the color of the bricks and the printing. So it's the same airplane, nice model. This one doesn't have the smoky canopy, so you can notice that there's not a pilot in there a little more. Again, come on, a little headpiece for a pilot. This one could use a tiny bit of painting on it, but minor complaint. Now, like the Typhoon, and unlike the Zero, no flaps moving, no embossed rudder here. Again, minor complaints. These are 1/48 scale. So I'm not going to get into a build video about any of these airplanes. And the reason is I don't really need to. Other people do online. And besides, sometime in the next day or so after I make this video and post it, I'm going to post the video of my son building this one. He's 8 years old, and he gives some of his thoughts on it. So Terry, you may ask, how accurate size-wise can these be given that they're made of bricks? You know, they say 1/48, but how close is that? Well, haha! I have a whole pile of scale rulers for all my modeling efforts. And when I read the dimensions of these airplanes and actually measure them with my 1/48 scale ruler, they actually come out to within a few inches in some cases, just a few inches of the actual scale size. They are remarkably accurate in size. Even when I take this one, which is bigger, and measure it with my scale ruler, they're pretty close. They scale out width and length literally within a half a foot. And I think that's fantastic. So what am I going to do with these things? Well, here's what I'm going to do. I have this Churchill tank, and a whole series of 1/48 scale Sherman tanks. Okay. And the interesting thing is, these all scale out really well too. And we got the Firefly, the Easy 8, etc. All the various Shermans, all pad printed, all really nice. And because I have toy trains, as I've mentioned, I will build a scene and a diorama with operating toy trains and these models. I have been on a kick of radio controlling some of my toy train locomotives so that I can run them on 2-rail track. When I was on Vancouver Island, I would run my toy trains outdoors with radio control. And I collected up a certain type of old Lionel flat car, and I made a way and I rigged a way to mount these tanks on the flat cars to make a military train. There are videos in my playlist all about this, but here, why don't we just pause for a sec so I can show you exactly what I mean from a previous video. And now why don't I show you one of my radio controlled trains running outdoors in a garden railway setting. Now imagine that this summer, as the summer progresses here in Eastern Ontario, I'm going to build an outdoor garden railway, and it's going to include 32mm gauge, where I will be able to build scenes. Now, I'm not going to leave these things outdoors for all weather and leave them out there and stuff, but I'll bring them out, set up the scene. The layout will be designed with maybe a corner of an airstrip. I'll have a military proving ground where we can have some tanks and whatnot. Some of them will be on flat cars, and I'll be able to run my toy trains with these COBI kits outdoors in real plants and dirt. Now, I got all this stuff from my friend Craig at brickarmy.ca, and if you look at the bottom screen there should be a link right now. He's a super awesome fellow, great customer service. So just head on over to his website and just scroll through all the various brick models you can get. 1:48 scale COBI is a winner, especially for people that don't have a ton of space to store these things. They're fairly quick builds, a lot of fun. The quality of the bricks is amazing, all pad printed. So when I set out on this 1:48 scale journey with COBI, after having a whole bunch in 1:32 and 1:35 and stuff, 1:28, I asked myself, what's the point? Well, I think I've answered it. There is a point. These are awesome.